Brothers and sisters, I want to speak to the ones who are standing at a crossroads, the ones who are tired of trying, tired of falling, tired of waiting. You've prayed, you've believed, and still it feels like you're walking in circles. But let me remind you today, the God who called you has not abandoned you. He is not silent because he's absent. He's silent because he's guiding. When you can't trace his hand, trust his heart. Victory is not the absence of struggle. Victory is the presence of God in the middle of it. Trusting God to guide you to the path of victory does not mean the road will be smooth, but because his hand is sure. When everything around you seems uncertain, his plan remains firm. You may not see the whole picture, but he sees the end from the beginning. Every delay, every detour, every moment of silence has purpose. Trust him in the dark, and he will lead you into the light. Victory is not just a destination. It's the outcome of walking with the one who never loses a battle. Keep your eyes on him. Your breakthrough is not a matter of if, it's only a matter of when. Sometimes we expect the path to be obvious, straight, and filled with signs. But God doesn't always lead us the way we expect. He leads us the way we need. Look at Gideon. He didn't come from a mighty family. He didn't see himself as a warrior. Yet God called him mighty man of valor before he ever lifted a sword. God was not speaking to Gideon's current situation. He was speaking to his future. God will guide you to victory, not based on where you are, but on where he's taking you. God leads is based on destiny, not difficulty. You may be facing obstacles, but those obstacles are not the final word. God is. And his word says in Psalm 37:23, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delights in his way. That means even when you stumble, even when you feel lost, you are still being ordered. You are still being led. The GPS of heaven has not lost your signal. You are not off course. You are being refined for the course. Victory doesn't always look like what we imagine. It might look like tears in the night and prayers that go unanswered for a time. But God sees every tear and he hears every whisper. He doesn't operate on our schedule, but his timing is always right. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. Just like Elijah had to go hide by the brook before he stood on the mountain. Just like Hannah had to endure years of silence before her promise came. Your silence is not your sentence. It's your setup. You might not realize it, but you're making a serious mistake. You're ignoring the one voice that can lead you out of confusion, out of struggle, and into the breakthrough you've been praying for. Yes, God is speaking, but are you really listening? You've heard so many messages, watched videos, and followed advice, but you still feel stuck, tired, and lost. You want things to change, but nothing seems to work. The truth is, you've been shutting out the one voice that actually has the answers. I know what that feels like. I've been in that same place, running in circles, trying everything, but going nowhere. Things only started to shift when I stopped ignoring God's quiet voice and started following his word. Right now, you are just one word away from peace. One step of obedience away from the change you've been waiting for. But if you miss his voice, you might miss your moment. Here's a question that changed my life. How can you follow God if you don't know when he's speaking? I struggled with that for years. I wanted to do what was right, but I couldn't tell if it was God speaking or just my own thoughts. I used to think God only spoke through big, dramatic moments. But what I didn't know was this. God often speaks quietly. He's not shouting. He's not far away. He's near, so close he whispers. He speaks through his word, the Bible. That's the clearest place to hear him. If you're not reading it, you're missing daily guidance. He also speaks through your heart, like when something feels off or you sense you should go a different way. He can speak through people, through peace, through moments that line up too perfectly to be a coincidence. Even silence can be a message. God uses stillness to get your attention. Nehemiah, a cupbearer to the king, was given the task of rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem. But there was one thing standing in his way: opposition. As he set out to rebuild, he faced mockery, threats, and discouragement from the enemies of Israel. But Nehemiah didn't back down. He trusted God to guide him through the path of victory. Despite all the obstacles, Nehemiah led the people to complete the walls in just 52 days, a feat that seemed impossible. Nehemiah's story is a reminder that even when the road seems impossible and the challenges seem overwhelming, God is the one who grants victory. When we trust his guidance, step by step, he leads us through opposition and into breakthrough. Just like Nehemiah, you too are called to rebuild the areas of your life that have been broken, and if you trust God, he will guide you to victory. Trusting God means surrendering your need to control the outcome. It means walking when you don't understand, praising when you don't feel it, and believing when everything in you says to give up. But that's where faith becomes real. That's where strength is born. Isaiah 30:21 says, "Whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, 'This is the way, walk in it.'" That means God is not silent. He's whispering, guiding, nudging you closer to the victory he already wrote with your name on it. You're surrounded by so much noise. Life is loud. People have opinions. Pressure is real. But in the middle of all that, there's one voice that truly matters: God's. Because you were never meant to live in confusion. You were made to live with clarity, peace, and purpose. But that starts with hearing the one who made you. Before any battle, God gives a plan. He doesn't just throw you into the storm, he gives instruction. His voice is the winning strategy. When you follow it, you move with heaven's help. But when you ignore it, you might end up fighting battles that weren't even yours. If you've been feeling like things aren't working, maybe the problem isn't God's silence. It's the things blocking your heart. Sin, pride, fear, and distractions can make it hard to hear him. But if you come back to him, clear the noise, and open your heart, his voice becomes clear again. Some of you have been asking God for answers, but it feels like he's not talking. What if he is speaking, but your heart isn't open to hear? Spiritual deafness doesn't happen overnight. It sneaks in when we ignore the little things, when we delay obedience, when we do things our way instead of God's way. Little by little, our hearts become hard, and a hard heart doesn't hear clearly. The longer we resist, the harder it is to hear. God won't force his voice on us. If we keep choosing distractions, we start living in confusion. But today, if you say, "God, I want to hear you again," and just like that, he will respond. The silence can break. Your heart can soften, but you have to choose to listen again. Because when you don't hear God, you're walking through life without a guide. And that's dangerous. But when you let him speak into your life, he brings peace, wisdom, and breakthrough. Don't just listen to feel better. Listen to follow. Because that's where the power is. That's where breakthrough lives. It's not just about hearing God's voice. It's about doing what he says. That's where peace flows. That's where doors open. That's where real change begins. So today, make this your prayer. God, I'm listening. Speak to me. Lead me. I will follow. And watch how everything begins to change. So don't let delay make you doubt. Don't let the storm make you surrender. You serve a God who walks on water, parts seas, and makes walls fall without you lifting a finger. The same God who led Joshua around Jericho, who led Daniel through the lion's den, who led Ruth from loss to legacy, that same God is leading you. He is still in control. He is still writing your story. And when God writes it, no devil in hell can erase it. You were not created to quit. You were not chosen to lose. You were called for victory. Victory over fear. Victory over depression. Victory over the lies that tell you you're not enough. You are more than a conqueror through Christ. That means the outcome is already decided. You just have to walk through the process. And if you keep walking, keep trusting, keep believing, you'll look back and realize that the path wasn't easy, but it was worth it because God was with you every step of the way. So today I challenge you, keep going. Trust God to guide you. Don't give up when it's dark. Don't retreat when it's hard. The God who started this journey with you is faithful to complete it. You are not alone and you are not lost. You are being led, and your path, it leads to victory. So rise up, child of God. Walk boldly, believe deeply, and trust completely because your victory is on the way. If this message stirred something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Like, comment, and share this word with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more encouragement.